prove what you're doing? Is there documentation that supports that you're following the process and presumably meeting your customer requirements? That your staff know the roles and responsibilities they're intended to apply? And can you improve it? Can you do better than what you're currently doing? Just because you did that same task all these years does not necessarily mean that's going to be appropriate for the future. So for example, and you see the Plan, Do, Check, Act performance here, we have a system where anyone in this agency can write what we call a CPAR. It could be as much as a one sentence, a whole paragraph, where they're concerned about what we're doing in this agency, about a certain task. We have a group, and I am part of that group. We regularly meet to look at a CPAR that's been submitted, and you do this online. What you do with the CPAR, if it's something that we think is an issue that we need to address, and it may come out of our audits as well, we assign it to the responsible process owner. It could be a unit manager, an individual staff member. We then require them to complete a root cause analysis of what is the problem that we're trying to solve here. And then they bring back that root cause with an action plan if there needs to be an action plan. With that committee that I'm involved with, I read the ones that pertain to my area of the business. I read every CPAR that comes in. I, along with that group, approve every root cause analysis, that I accept that. I approve the action plan and the date and time, or the date, I should say, of when that work is to be completed and solve that problem. And if it requires an adjustment to the standard or to the process, we do it. So, but there's more to it. As you know, when you do these processes, you learn so much. You learn more about your business. You can then work to improve it. It's really a journey, not just necessarily a destination for us. It allows us to train staff. So, for example, I would meet with staff, and I would meet with a group of our employees, and they would come to me, and I said, you guys have, what, how many years of district service? 20, 25 years of service. And I would say, you guys may retire soon. I said, all of you guys are gone. This is my first day on the job, doing what you do. Tell me how I do it. Is there anything written down that I need to follow that could help me understand? They look at me, oh, we think there is. Yeah, I think you have something that you could use. Now, be realistic. We know that we have experienced employees that have worked here many years at your agencies and our agencies that don't need to follow a written procedure to do the work. They've done it. It's ingrained in their mind. The reality is, though, when they walk out the door, our show has got to go on. We've got to continue the job that we're doing for our community, the public expects of us. And they're going to take that experience with them. We cannot replace that experience. It would be great to get the flash drive and plug it in and pull it out. Here it is. It ain't going to be there. So a way for us to try to capture some of that experience is to have them write it down in the ISO format. Let's capture some of that. So there's various systems in ISO. There's, first of all, what is it we do in terms of the process? And then describing how we do certain functions, how we do that activity. And then it's written down. And the beauty of high tech now and the technology that we have, every one of our approved processes is on our internal webpage. So in the old days where you couldn't find the procedure, somebody's got a copy, it's an old version, it's not updated, everything's online. So you have readily available, every employee, a chance to refresh or see what the latest version of that process is. So it's pretty exciting. And again, as you do these things, you learn. You know, staff sits in a room, and we always want to improve what we do. Geez, if we can only improve the process we do. First step of improvement is knowing what is this we currently do, so you can map out what you do. And I learned the hard way. I came in and said, I want to make all these changes and make all these improvements. Let me first know what it is we do and work with the staff that are currently doing the job. So we map and document those processes. It takes some time. You've got to meet in a group, small groups, write it down. We brought in a consultant that helped us really translate what it is we're saying into the ISO format to allow us to be registered. We become much more conversant in it. And believe me, staff was extremely reluctant to go ISO. And in this very room, we were talking, and after these meetings, they'd say, Jim, it's not the right time to do ISO. We're busy, we've got many other tasks, a lot of things are urgent. I said, there's never going to be the right time to do ISO, because we're always going to be busy. But we need to start right now. So what happened was, our Capital Services Division became ISO registered. My Watershed Operations organization became ISO certified. The entire organization, a few years later, became ISO certified. And it's not just that, okay, you're certified and go away and come back every 6 months. No, it's an ongoing living process. We have much more work to do. In fact, today, my chair that came into the office, one of my managers presented to me a procedure, a process that he wanted me to review because it's an important process. It's a distribution system operations plan. Very systematic. The first step is purpose and scope. It describes the purpose and scope of this process. The distribution system operations plan describes the way the district operates and maintains its treated water distribution system and specifies the responsibilities of the chief operator and shift operator as specified under certain California Code of Regulations. The plan also describes how the following activities will be coordinated during normal operation, planned distribution system maintenance, and response to distribution emergency events. Goes on. The standard provides you to have definitions, reference documents, and then you go into the roles and responsibilities. Pretty exciting. So, tying back into workforce. So, when we have performed ISO, the workers and the managers have come together within and across organizational units. Because just like in that process I described, some of those tasks are not necessarily being done in one particular unit. There's coordination across units. And oftentimes in our organizational culture, we love silos. And it's hard to sort of move across silos. And yet our functions have to exist and be functional across organizational boundaries. Having those audits that I mentioned earlier are really vital to really help strengthen and the vitality and really keep us sharp. Early on, our staff was somewhat fearful of those audits. Someone we don't even know is coming in and asking questions about how we do our job. And so we learned to embrace audits because we felt the whole purpose is improvement. If we learn something of value in those audits, great, we'll apply it. So it helps us strengthen us in terms of being prepared and being proud of how we perform our work. It's a milestone in getting certification, as I mentioned, but it must be maintained, and we have a focused effort to do so. We can capture our institutional knowledge and the experience of our staff as we transition. It fosters a culture of our systems management, a process focus. Encourages staff at all levels to serve on an internal audit team. So in addition to an external audit, we have an internal audit group that meets on those alternate 6 months. And so they go around and they may know nothing about what's being done there, but they learn what's happening in our business. Very helpful. And then it empowers our staff to understand and look for corrections. And so they would call me and they were complaining about something. I said, okay, what is it? Go online, here's how you do it, write it in. I'd say I take it very seriously. Looking ahead for us, we have to maintain our focus. In fact, as I moved over to the watershed, or the water utility, I should say, I had staff identify what we have to do in the water utility. And I have a list here of about 491 separate processes that staff have to develop over the next few years because they identify, I didn't identify them, they self-identified to put things in a more systematic and disciplined way. We're encouraging the use of our CPAR system, corrective preventative action. I take a personal interest in it. I lead by example when it comes to ISO. As we all know, it's one of the foundations we have to lead when we bring these systems in, whatever these management systems may be. And again, it helps us keep our knowledge management focus. Say what we do and write it down, support the cross-training and rotation programs among our staff. And so it's a pretty exciting effort to envision for us. It may not be perfect for you, it takes some work. Staff ask me, how much time is it going to be? Where's the money coming from? I say, where do you budget your time to be a manager? What we're doing here is being a manager. You're being a unit manager. This is part of your job. Because if you don't have your stuff written down, you need to. And so it's very exciting. I think it does tie directly into workforce development. And with that, I'll stop and take any questions.